Hello, Internet. Now please hold on to your butt as two comedians attempt to talk about serious subjects in a not-so-serious manner. From the mysterious to the utterly vicious, everything is fair game. This is the Kill Them With Comedy podcast, featuring true crime, amazing events, conspiracies, unsolved mysteries, and an array of weird and wonderful topics, all for your enjoyment. You're welcome.
Hello, everybody, and welcome
Cheers.
to the season 2 premiere of the Kill Them With Comedy podcast. I am your blah 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 blah. I am your.
It's been a while, hasn't it?
Yeah, man, it's gone completely out of my head. But I am your comedic babyface, KD Hinken, and I am joined as ever by my fellow funny friend from around the comedy circuit. He is the creator of the award-winning post-met. Now, Jesus. This is going to be one tonight. He is the creator of the award-winning post-apocalyptic metal treehouse, as you can see down the bottom there. Episode 1 to 3 available now, and number 4 coming soon. Is that correct?
Very soon now, hopefully. Yeah, should be end of next week. It's out, which is amazing, really, considering like one of the things you played on one of the the quiz podcasts was. I mean, that must have been months ago at this point. And that is still going to be in episode 4.
Oh, was that episode 4 with this?
Yeah. I think it was supposed to be in episode 3, but it's turned into a bigger thing now. So you're sort of going to see a lot more stuff happening with it. It's quite good.
And a lot more work goes into that kind of, like, this kind of thing is easy because you can just get on and you just chat shit. That thing, did you have to put thought into that?
Yeah, it takes a long time to make it happen, but
Yeah.
it's worth it, I think.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But anyway, yeah. He is the man of 1,000 voices, and not all of them are in his head. He is the Kill Them With Comedy co-host / fraud villain extraordinaire, Mr. Nathan Parish. Fucking hell. Oh,
Hell
I'm
yeah.
gonna lean on you a lot more today.
That's fine. I can handle it.
Cool.
Yeah, it's been an interesting few weeks, hasn't it?
That's one word for it. Yeah, yeah. How's it been for you?
I mean, yeah, I mean, it's okay. Yeah, I've had issues with Amazon charging me huge amounts of money for something that I paid for 3 months ago.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
That's fun. They seem to think that it was worth charging me 30 quid for nothing, basically.
Okay.
Yeah, I bought a pair of gas mask filters like months and months ago.
About what?
Gas mask filters. While I'm working, I use a full-blown
okay.
respirator, mate. I've
Yeah,
got one somewhere I can show you, but
Is it the one you're wearing on the when you did the Bane video?
Looks a little bit like this. Yes.
First I will
destroy your city.
I love the the South Park one of that. Love that.
Oh yeah.
Almost though you're PS driver.
Yeah, everyone becomes Bane at the end. It's brilliant.
Yeah. But can you remember when Amazon used to have that thing though that they used to do when I think it was when Amazon Prime first started, and this got so many people that you'd go through the 3 month or the 3 week. Then if you didn't, like cancel it, most things would take the first month. This took a year.
Yeah, it's like £54. Enjoy. It's like, no, fuck you.
Yeah.
This is a subscription service. Jesus. Yeah, I don't know why the fuck they thought that was the way to go. I think it was just Bezos feeling greedy.
Yeah. When we was doing that Roundtable podcast, you said Bezos, and I was like, that's one person who's completely gone off my radar. I didn't have a clue who that was. I know now. I went out of my way to find out.
Yeah. Jeff Bezos is a strange man, as I've mentioned before. But he's no longer the richest man in the world. It's Elon Musk now. He overtook him. Yeah, Elon Musk. He made a statement as well. Actually, he was talking about the fact that he's earmarked, according to Elon Musk, he's earmarked half of his money for the development of mankind on Earth and like saving the Earth, and the other half of it is just dedicated to getting humanity to Mars. And like, if that's true, I'm totally down with it. Elon Musk is my guy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm fine with it. It's just a weird thing to want to do, though. Like go to Mars. I suppose it's the next place to go to. It's just the next on the line. Yeah,
I'd do it immediately, mate. You want to know why? Because then I'd be the first Martian comedian.
It's true.
Yeah, no one could argue with it, could they? And I'd be able to make my sketch show up there. I'd send that out to people. They'd be like, "Oh, have you heard Post-Apocalyptic Metal Treehouse?" Yes, of course I have. There's fuck all else. We're on Mars.
I heard they got great Wi-Fi all up there, so you should be sorted.
Yeah.
Oh, what was that? There was, I think I mentioned it slightly before to you. There was some Iranian he was the head of the Iranian Air Force for like 30 years, and he recently retired. And he came out recently saying that on Mars there's been an alien and human thing where they've been like doing research
working
together in a lab up there. Yeah,
interesting. You know,
I can't remember what it was now, but something made the point that if that was the case, what the hell could they learn from us, really? And it's true. What could they learn from us?
Nothing. Sweet fuck all.
Yeah. They can zip about from like galaxies and stuff, and we're just here like, we can fly a bit, you know, we can hover, use ridiculous amounts of fuel just to get out of our atmosphere.
And you know, quite clearly not be able to survive in the vacuum of space at all.
Yeah.
We're not designed for it. We're not supposed to be there. Yeah.
Weirdly enough. You know?
Yeah. I do find it funny though. Like, everyone talks about UFOs. This is a thing that I find really interesting. I think if I was looking for an alien life form, I wouldn't necessarily be looking for something in a spaceship.
Yeah,
because like there's nebulas out there, especially like ones that, you know, that blow up in a star and they've got particular types of chemicals inside them. Some of them have got exactly the right amount of oxygen, exactly the right amount of carbon, exactly the right amount of all of these other things that you need to make life.
Yeah.
So there's no reason, if you've got enough light, if you've got enough energy out there, that something couldn't evolve to survive in the vacuum of space.
Oh, yeah, I got you.
Yeah? So you could have like space jellyfish, basically, just wobbling about the place, just absorbing rays and floating throughout the sort of the blackness of space.
That's kind of what I was thinking in my head. Yeah. It'd be like, just like the ocean, you know, just things swimming in the water, you imagine.
Exactly. And like the energy exists out there, the stuff exists for these things to survive. Whether they're there or not, we don't know, you know, but I think it's one of those things. Everyone gets a little bit sort of stuck on one idea of what
the humanoid
life
kind of
is. Yeah. And not only that, but like you can have silicon-based life that had copper blood and breathed. There's something else you can use as opposed to oxygen to get the same thing done with a hemoglobin that we've got examples of on Earth. If you know, it's really interesting.
There was one.
It could be ammonia or something like that. I can't remember. There's ammonia based for water. That was it as well.
Yeah, I remember hearing about one where they found it in something to do with water, but I don't know if it was silicone based or. Now you said that's in my head. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's technically like I remember reading it because the headline was saying that we found aliens on Earth, and technically they're not carbon based life forms. So it's like yeah,
sort of. Yeah.
I'll take that personally.
Yeah. I think that's just. Yeah, that would be rad if you could just find a space jellyfish, man.
Yeah. Well, that kind of keys into like what I was reading. That thing I mentioned to you, that UFO, that alien-y kind of documentary I watched. I don't remember what it was called now.
Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind.
Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind, yeah.
Because I saw Close Encounters of the Fourth Kind, which I think was a documentary actually presented by Mia Jovovich, weirdly enough.
Who's that? Is that
I never saw Fifth Kind.
Resident Evil.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I like her.
Yeah, yeah. And also from Fifth Element, which I'll admit I watched that scene where she's getting dressed a lot when I was younger.
I used to like the scene from Tomb Raider when she used to like, you got side boob. That was always my pause and rewind.
Oh yeah, a bit of side boob. Yeah.
So kids today,
classics out there.
Kids today don't understand the concept, man, of having to like pause and skip forward on a VCR and see through the
pausing on a VHS was hard. Like watching the tits go up and down, like it was just like
sometimes
not in a fun way, not in a bouncy way, in a very weird robotic way that puts you off.
Everything about videos, man. I remember like if you'd be recording something on a night and you'd put Babe Station on and you'd forget, and then like your parents would you know, like you're like, ah, shit.
Yeah. And Eurotrash, man. I remember that being a fucking guaranteed watch. If I was awake at the time when I knew Eurotrash was on, I'd mute the fucking TV down to virtually nothing, check out some Eurotrash. What the fuck is this nonsense? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'll still check it all out now, man, if it's there, for sure.
It's mad shit. Like just watching genuinely weirdly shaped Germans in a nudist colony, and then it was always a weirdly shaped German of some kind, or someone from Holland or something like that, and they always had that sort of track over the top of it where it was like, someone from Yorkshire, like me, get me tits out. Oh, I like to go down the beach and get me baps out. Oh yes, I do. I like to have an ice cream too. Sometimes it falls on my tits, but I don't care.
That's German.
Yeah, exactly. This is their idea of what a German sounds like to other Germans.
So when you're talking about Eurotrash and then you started talking about weirdly sized Germans, I'm like,
before I forget, I've got to talking of, again, weirdly sized Germans.
Okay.
Did you know that Arnold Schwarzenegger wasn't allowed to dub his own version of the German version of Terminator?
Wasn't allowed to.
Yeah, do you want to know why?
Yeah.
Because to Germans, Austrians sound like farmers.
Also to them,
come with me if you want to live. Or get in my combine harvester. We'll take you halfway across the county. Don't you worry about it, Sarah. You'll be absolutely fine.
I can understand that in that case. That seems completely fair enough. You wouldn't want like a mank doing it over here. It would just sound wrong. The mank, that's the one.
There's certain voices that just can't pull off certain stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I could never imagine, like, because that's the one that's like, I like that, isn't it?
Manchester is sort of, it's hard to do. I'm not sure if that's it or if that's more Liverpool.
I'm just, I'm terrible. I don't even notice it. Like people say, there was something recently I was watching my mum and she was like, oh God, you can tell they're a Brummie, can't you? I'm like, yeah.
yeah.
An American or Alaskan for all I knew. Yeah, that Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind, though, I didn't realise that each one is like a different thing. I never thought about it.
It's the different stages, because the first kind is just seeing the UFO. The second kind is
abduction.
No, third kind is third kind abduction. No, fourth kind is abduction. Because that's why the fourth kind documentary was all about people getting caught. Third kind is communication. I think. Which I'm not sure. I think second kind might be if they've left a message or if there's some form of evidence left behind.
Yeah, that was like crop circles and stuff.
Yeah, things like that. Exactly. Yeah.
Fifth kind, like, do you know what that is?
Mm-mm.
It's like the basic idea of what the fifth encounter with the fifth kind is, like, where you have the communication, but it's in regard to like being initiated by the people rather than the aliens.
Right.
And it's, I mean, the initial part of the documentary is really interesting because they ease you into it as all over the first 20 minutes talking about UFOs just in general. And constantly throughout the whole video, there's all these UFO videos that they've taken because they have these close encounter CE5 events that they do like all over the world. And it's basically, it's like, it's all about how aliens could be interdimensional, and essentially they would have to be, because if you imagine, like, you know how long it would take to get to the nearest galaxy, like however many light years.
Yeah.
So it just doesn't work that they go in a linear way, you know, to get from there to here. So they'd have to go through another dimension in some manner, or like
either folding space or
Exactly,
somehow modifying gravity around the ship to
Yeah.
allow it to pass through without having to mess with light.
or
Yeah.
they're just even further being where they don't need like a vessel, like, you know, like
And they
like
can just
kinda like
sort
what
of
we're saying.
quantum move through the
Yeah.
universe almost. Yeah, it's like there's certain ideas of you could create a hologrammic. It's like they did this in Red Dwarf, actually. Weirdly, they had a
Yeah.
hologrammic ship, so it could travel at the speed of light because it is entirely made of light. I thought that was a cool idea, you know, that kind of thing. Sorry, anyway, continue.
No, it's I mean, that was what they were saying. Even if you travelled at the speed of light to get to the nearest galaxy, it was like, it's like 3 light years away, so it's like 3 million years it would take to get there. So even at the speed of light, you know, 3 million
You'd
years.
still be it's not worth the trip. Yeah.
You'd have to go some crazy, but it's just really, it's hard trying to explain. It's really interesting though, because like there's the whole idea of then after that's like string theory, or just something, another word for it I think now, where basically everything's connected by this force. The force binds everything together, all the cells and all that, you know, holds everything together, so everything's connected in that sense. And it's like using the power of thought, and it's all about being able to like connect with these aliens on like a different kind of level, like that we just don't really understand completely. But it sounds like crazy, but they do it, and then these things appear in the sky and come down to them, and they videotape it all. It's so strange. Just saying it sounds ridiculous.
Yeah. It seems like something I'm going to have to check out pretty soon, to be fair.
It's really interesting, man. It's like afterwards, I'm like, I've gone to repeat it a few times, and every time I've just felt it just seems so ridiculous to say. But to me, it's like the nearest thing to religion that I've always felt. Like, the idea of just something connecting everyone. I can't explain it now that I'm trying to explain it. It's not working.
I mean, there's more and more stuff coming out at the moment of weird things being detected, not even by, you know, people on this planet, but shit, we're just going, look at that thing out there in the vacuum of space. That shit's terrifying. Like, they talked about that potential megastructure around a sun ages ago, and they were like, we've seen this thing, it's blocking out the sun, but it is not circular. Right? And it's like a giant, big, long sort of structure from what they can see. And I mean, it's something about it recently. They've detected it again or something, or they've looked at it again, and it doesn't look sort of natural. Certainly not like anything else you would find in that area for any reason at all
that they know of.
Well, exactly. So far, but here's the other thing. I mean, it's like we've been hearing more about the WOW signal as well recently. Do you know what the WOW signal was? Right. So the WOW signal is fucking amazing.
Is that the thing coming from randomly in space and they just don't know where it's coming from?
Yeah. Well, they sort of detected it. I think it was somewhere in the 70s, something like that, late 70s, early 80s, and they had this massive array pointed up, and out of the blue, they just get a pure code signal. No fucking about, no messing about. It was code.
Yeah.
And it got to them, and they just went, "Oh shit!" And the only thing they wrote next to it in the column was "Wow." Well, recently, people have been studying the same area where the WOW signal came from, and they've detected an exoplanet that could support life coming from the exact area that it came from.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's very interesting.
And the thing is, it doesn't even need to be like space travel at that point. If it's just proven that that signal came from that planet and it was a radio frequency sent out, that is life.
Yeah. I mean, for all we know, we could be the oldest thing in the universe, and that's just the next thing getting to a bit behind us.
Getting and
from
ready to go.
radio
Yeah, there's
signals.
no reason why we couldn't be. I mean, probability is low just because of the huge size of the universe, but it
Exactly,
has
yeah.
to start somewhere.
Exactly,
Yeah.
yeah. One's got to start at some point. But even if that
Yeah,
was
yeah.
the case, you'd never know. Even if we got aliens confirmed completely, you'd still never be
Yeah.
able to meet them all. Or you know what I mean? You'd never know, even if you did.
Yeah.
And it's still expanding. I didn't realize that until recently, that it's still expanding.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the universe continuously expands, and eventually it'll expand to the point where the atoms between each other can't hold each other together anymore.
Oh, so that force kind of goes then.
Yeah, that whole thing that is keeping everything together is just gradually just goes, and it just all turns into dust, basically.
See, I think I've said this to you before. Like that whole interdimension alien thing, though, it's like to me that feels like ghosts as well. Like it's all connected to me. It just feels like that. Like,
yeah, I mean, I've got one of those things where I don't entirely follow the ghost stuff that far.
yeah,
But I think there's reasons why it could happen. There's certain things about time not being as linear as we think it is. It's
yeah,
just
yeah,
we perceive it in a certain way.
yeah.
I think that someone ages ago, a friend of mine, told me a story about whether it was dementia sufferers or Alzheimer's sufferers, something like that. But they found that sometimes they were answering questions that they hadn't asked the question yet.
Oh, but they were planning
Like
to.
they were having issues by communicating and saying random things, and then later on they would think, actually, no, I asked a thing later on that was an answer to.
Yeah, yeah,
You see what I mean? So there could be something going on where the human brain is desperately trying to hold its perception in a certain way because that's what logically makes sense.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
If that almost makes it, I don't know, but
Yeah, like the brain's like going out of its way to make sense of things, like how we've evolved to see human faces in anything you look at. Same kind of thing, making sense of things.
Yeah. And we can only see, we can't see UV light unless you take out particular parts of our eye, and then you can see stuff. Like there was an artist, I think it might have been Picasso or something like that. It was someone really famous, but they had a problem with their eyes, and they started to get cataracts, couldn't see. They had the thing removed, and then they could suddenly see a lot more color, and their paintings went from being a normal looking thing to this really bright and over imaginative colors and stuff like that, because they were seeing UV light,
Yeah. It's when you're saying that, but how you can't like see the UV, that's how I was trying to explain it to Mom, like the different dimensions as well. I was like, just trying to say like all these things that we can't see, or that we know they're there, but we can't actually see them ourselves, but we know they're there because of our
it's like electromagnetism.
senses.
We can't detect magnets near us at all. We don't have anything in it we can detect it, but there are pigeons and shit that fly based on a magnetic signal they have in their head.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
So some of the ways that's a really good point, actually, with what you were saying before about like you think about how aliens could evolve to different things and that. Just putting that same idea with like looking at the animals that have evolved on Earth, and some of the crazy shit that certain animals can do just because they've evolved that way.
Yeah. Oh, did you see? There's a thing going around at the moment quite regularly.
COVID.
That's about that. Yeah. No, but I think basically in nature, for some reason, shit keeps evolving into crabs.
Okay.
No one knows why. But there are like thousands of different examples of creatures that have independently evolved into the shape of a crab.
I guess it must be something to do with it being the strongest thing.
It's really strong. It's really versatile. You've got lots of defenses because you've got the big ass claws. You've got lots of legs, so you can walk over like rough terrain quite easily. Things like that.
It's quite a weird thing to be
Does
a
that mean that
universe.
technically aliens would look like crabs more likely than anything else?
Yeah, I don't see. I suppose at the same time, we wouldn't be here. We'd most like the dominant species would be like some kind of smart bird creatures if if the asteroid hadn't hit with the dinosaurs.
Yeah, probably. In fact, I mean, we don't know how smart any of those dinosaurs were. They weren't putting tools and shit together, but they could have easily been on the same level as like dolphins and having complex communication and things like that. They could have been 50,000 years away from getting themselves an opposable thumb, and off they went.
I was watching some of the dolphins the other day, and dolphins are ridiculously smart, and whales too.
Yeah. Did you ever see the LSD trials where they're trying to feed dolphins LSD and get them to speak English?
No.
Oh my god, dude, this is a story and a half. This woman, like, she's desperate. You can hear the audio recordings, right? And this woman is desperately trying to get this dolphin to say, "I love you." And she's like, "No, no, say I love you." No, say I love you. And apparently the dolphin would get frustrated and bored, so she would wank it off.
And you just say
it's like, hang on, I'll just finish you off, and then we can get on with the lesson. Okay, I'll just finish you off.
Well, to be fair, if my teacher would have done that, then I would have paid more attention in school.
I would have paid a shitload more attention.
Yeah,
yes, definitely. Yeah.
Even if it was an old guy, you'd still pay more attention because you'd be like, "What are you doing? Please don't do it."
We said attention. We didn't say positive attention.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
I've had some. I wanted to mention this. I've had some couple of podcast promoter people like message me. Yeah, but you know how most of them, they always just seem like bullshit. It's just a cash grab thing,
Yeah.
And one in particular just made me laugh, so I had to get some of the screen grabs going on. I thought I'd show you some of it.
All right, let's have a look.
This is from Ryan Nidal, his name is. What is this the main bit? Sounds good. Yeah, I'll read it out for the podcast viewers. So he is saying monthly 50 plus rating, 20k download, subscriber. And I was saying, sounds good.
Sounds good, yeah. Of course it is. Great deal.
There was a bit of discussion before this where I was trying to find out what he was doing. And then I asked for an explanation of how he does it at that bit above it. That's what it was. And that was his reply, monthly 50 plus rating. That was his.
How do you do it? Monthly 50 plus rating, dude. Do you not understand? Like 20k downloads, subscriber.
The worst part was he put that earlier as well. But and then he just says, "Give me your money, blah 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 blah, PayPal." And I thought he was joking.
It's a fucking hard sell. Give me your money.
I thought he was being dick.
Would you like to make a deal? Give me your money.
So you'd imagine this conversation wouldn't have gone on long, but that would not be correct.
Jesus Christ!
Oh, that was me just getting.
You can sweat straight out my gooch. It's fucking brilliant.
Yeah, you can
give me your screenshot transaction ID. Jesus.
Yeah, you still go for it. And then it carried on. Oh, is that right? Will my money go towards making that happen, or making me a podcast superstar?
Yeah,
I'm so interested. Give me your screen. Oh, is that the same bit? I think, Annie.
Yeah.
And then it continued to give me your money screenshot. Give me your gooch.
Give me your gooch.
I will start work as soon as you pay. Okay, done.
Okay,
gooch first, money later.
Money later.
Monthly
$300.
But guess
what the hell is he thinking? Oh my god!
But he does a hard bargain. Gooch also £300 first. Yes. What? Only first month. Only first month
for you, because I like you.
What's this? I can't remember what this last one was. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Chili, baby, that good.
Yeah. I made sure that I read the perfect amount of I want my baby back. So he is now Mr. Gooch. And no word of a lie, he is still messaging me each day. He messaged me today after I messaged you saying, please talk to me. We make good work together or something like that.
The thing is, it's not. There's no proof. There's no like, this is what I did with this podcaster.
Exactly.
This is what I did with this podcaster. It's just, hey, give me money. Give me money. I make you a great star. Give me money.
I wonder, and you imagine if they're doing that must actually work on some people.
Oh, of course it works.
Yeah.
Absolutely it works. Yeah, it's the same reason why people will listen to robocalls that say, you have had a tax refund. Please call this number at 033312224888. And it just fucking keeps on going for hours because it's in a different country talking to someone who doesn't speak English again.
It's fucking, there's so many of them. I mean, I keep seeing like all these random scam things pop up now because people are terrible. We know that. We know people are terrible.
Yeah. Scams are the fucking worst.
I mean, look at fucking Trump. You forgot about all of that.
Yeah,
the Capital Riot thing and all that was since we did the last podcast, wasn't it?
Yeah, and we made that that little prediction of that. We didn't think it was going to go well. We were proven right. What a surprise!
It was you specifically said, because Alex said something, he'll do something, and then you specifically used the word riot, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know whether I said it exactly there, or I will have to check the tape, but I have said that quite a lot. So yeah, it didn't surprise me, but I did sort of catch it live because I was just sitting down to sort of eat basically when it was all kicking off, and yeah.
It was such a weird thing to see. Like, obviously, you know, like, we're English. We don't care in the sense of, oh, it's terrible. You're, making our country look like blah, blah, blah. It's stupid anyway to say things like that. But just for the simple fact of, like,
the leaders of democracy around the world, and we're being embarrassed. Yeah,
so I don't understand the logic of what they thought was going to happen from that. What the end game was.
The end game was, realistically, there was a guy who went in there with zip ties and stun guns and shit.
Oh, yeah.
You know, the guy who was literally, like, leaning down, going into the fucking Senate room from the balcony above it. Yeah, he had tack gear on, he had a helmet, he had glasses, all that shit, and he had zip ties in his back pockets and a stun gun. Like, he could have literally just gone in there and started stunning people, zipped down them up, send them out. Like, I mean, that was that guy's plan. There's no fucking arguing with that. That was that guy's plan. You don't turn up with that shit if you're not planning on using it.
Yeah, that's a pretty politically correct version of a mass shooter, a stun gun instead of an assault.
Yeah, stun gun and zip ties. I'm going for a pacifist run.
Yeah, making it fun. This could be a revolver, but it's just a stun gun. And can shoot twice. Yeah, I don't get it. It's not too bad. But just the logic of it all, like, I don't understand. And then people making it ridiculous. Obviously, you say this like you have to feel for like someone when they die in the family and all this. But what the hell would the woman that got shot and died? How would she expect? She's trying to go into like a Senate thing where like
she's ex-military as well. She should have. She should have known.
She was,
she knows the protocol in that scenario is they are going to fucking shoot you. But like there was Bill Maher did a really good speech on that from his series that started up again, and he basically went, "You've got to remember, this person voted for Barack Obama Biden when Barack Obama was."
Is that when he was vice president?
Yeah. She voted for them. And she was convinced that, by QAnon and stuff like that Donald Trump was going to be the savior and he was going to fix everything that was wrong. Because Biden and Obama hadn't. And he makes a point as well that this woman, she was living in California, I think it was, or somewhere similar to California, which had the same laws, where she was paying a loan for 106%. Or 160%, something stupid like that, every single year. She was having to pay more than what she fucking borrowed because that's
it's
legal in
ridiculous
America.
interest. Yeah.
Yeah, just stupid interest on it.
We have
And
like stupid interest here, but I imagine it's probably capped at some point. I should know.
it
I've
is
worked in
capped. It
finance
is
for so
capped.
long.
I mean,
Yeah.
for a while, it was actually worse here when Wonga was at its power, if you know what I mean.
I know, that's what you mean.
After a while, they had to cut that shit out because people realised you can't really do that without, fucking a lot of people over.
Yeah,
But we just got to remember, this woman literally, she voted that way. Nothing changed, and like even in California, this democratic state that's also wonderful and helping people, they still let that loan happen. They still didn't give her any support. There's a reason why these people feel disenfranchised.
Yeah.
But that's not the way you fucking fix it.
Well, no, of course not. I just couldn't get past then. Like, this is how I used to feel like when I was working in like the debt collection stuff and like the FinDiffs and that. And obviously, I had a lot of sympathy for people when they were talking about payday loans and all that and getting in a situation. But I get that, but at the same time, it's like, don't be making out like that it forced you to apply for this loan. Like, you know, they didn't tie you up. They didn't zip tie your hands together and force you to take out this loan. Like, you knew what you were doing too. Let's be fair.
Yeah, but I think that mostly comes down to still the fact that people aren't being paid enough.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
If people are having to go out there and go, I think I might need to get a payday loan to pay for my gas bill, which I heard people have to do back when, again, Wonga was at its power.
Yeah.
Like, that's disgraceful. Like, and people keep going, oh, well, but all these people on benefits, they're taking all the money from these people. Well, if they're working and they're still on benefits, then it isn't them who's getting the payout. It's the fucking what do you call it? It's the bank managers and the I was going to say retail staff. No, the management staff.
Yeah.
That are taking that money. The employers are taking that money. It's not the people who aren't getting paid by the employers. Those employers should be paying that fucking shit out of their bank account, and instead, the government's having to make up for the shit that they won't pay their workers. It's just it's a stupid situation.
It's weird, and then you think about it now, like going forward as well, like with like all that jobby kind of stuff. Like you can't see how it's going. Like I've been like fighting back, like just being bothered by everything over this past week. Like just realizing how long this lockdown's going to have to go on for again now because people are being dumb more than anything.
Yeah. Oh, and I'm hearing more and more people saying, oh no, I don't know if I want to take the vaccine. I don't really fancy this and that. I had someone try and sort of give me a load of bullshit about it, like, oh well, I don't trust it because of longitudinal study and because of this, that, and the other, and because Pfizer, I don't trust Pfizer. And well, longitudinal study is literally how does it affect you in the long term versus how does it affect you laterally, as in short term, but across a wide amount of people. But I had to keep making the point. Look, you do understand that there are people out there who cannot take the vaccine because they have a compromised immune system and it could cause them serious harm. Therefore, by you not taking that vaccine, that person is no longer protected from you. Therefore, you are putting other people in danger. And she's like, oh no, but you don't understand. My time while I was doing this and my time while I was doing that, it was all this and that. No. You haven't actually. Yeah.
Because like she doesn't believe it's like helping them anyway, does she? So I assume.
And she was like, "Oh, you can decide your own risk
what you
factors
do,
and things like that you're willing." But it's like, again, it's not just my risk factor; it's everyone else's risk factor. I don't like. There's a go ahead.
It's weird. It's like this kind of fits into what I was thinking before because it's strange how people will listen to the government about certain things when it works for them. Yeah. But then as soon as it's something they don't agree with, then it's just so many things.
It's a problem.
Like all these things, like I can't even think that, like going to a shop and being a certain man's face and telling them to move back. So the government says we have to be this. So since when have we had so much trust in the government? What they say is okay.
Listen to the scientists. The scientists never said, "Oh, you can reduce it from 2 meters to 1."
Yeah.
That was a government decision. The scientists were always going, "What are you talking about? It's 2 meters, you fucking fool."
Scientists were telling them it's not safe for children to go to school. So what did the government do? Leave the schools open?
Oh, we have to send them back to school. It doesn't affect children very much at all. No, but they spread it like fucking plague rats.
And then obviously because the only thing they're near is the main people that are getting it and they're near is like the virus, is the kids and that. So when it mutates, it's going to mutate in some way against them, and like it did, the new strain is a lot
to be more efficient against them, which may
Yeah.
well be one of the reasons why it's become more efficient at killing people in general and become more infectious, because it had to fight stronger immune systems, you know.
Apparently, I did hear today though that the infection rates have finally started to go down very minorly, from 1 in 50 to 1 in 55. But it's the first evidence of the lockdown
Actually taking effect. Yeah.
Yeah, but too many people. I hear too many stories, man, of people just like fucking around with this. I just don't get. And then,
I know some people who are, and you can't really tell them no, because
fucking can.
Yeah, well, the best I can do is I just tell them, if you are going to do something, make sure you stick as much as you can to safety. Don't go near people. Don't do stupid shit that you shouldn't have to do. Just fucking, if you do have to travel anywhere, because I have to do it for work. Don't fill up anywhere apart from near your house if possible. Fill up your tank completely. Do the drive there and back, and don't fucking ever touch another fucking pump at all.
Yeah, man, I have to get the buzz, and I don't travel very much at the moment. I'm staying in as much as I can. The only time I travel is to see the boys. Every time I'm on the bus, there's always somebody that's not wearing a mask, and I always have to talk to the bus driver. I don't know. I gave up after a certain point.
Yeah.
But it's just like, why? It's supposed to be a law now. Why is it still okay? And they've said to me,
why is it difficult as well? We've been doing this for long enough, and there's still people with the mask around their fucking nose, underneath the nose. Like, I don't have time to be fucking, vigilant at every fucking idiot out there to make sure they're using their mask properly. It should be fucking simple. Yeah. And I get it all the time. I get these people I've talked to, and they go, "Oh, I've got the mask over my face. I can't breathe through it." It's like, bullshit, can't you?
Yeah,
bullshit, can't you? I wear the mask all the time. I'm more than happy. I wear the respirator mask while I'm moving heavy fucking boxes and furniture. I can breathe through that. You can breathe through a fucking bit of cloth.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's crazy how we've complained about this so many times, and it's just the same thing.
It never changes.
If people want to do it and go out and do what they want, but it's they're never going to be able to do that until everyone actually does it properly first, so we can get to a point where we can go and do whatever we want.
And this has happened so many times throughout history, but no one ever bothers to look back in history and find out what the fuck happened. It's happened twice in very obvious ways. One that I found out recently was the cholera outbreak years ago, 1800s or something like that. And
that's the one.
No, it's basically sort of, if you've got your waste in various areas and it's bad, you've not got any sewage or anything like that to take it out, and it's just raw sewage everywhere. Cholera can build up. It's from urine and
it makes sense.
It's nasty. But people would go out and they would start rioting and protesting and going, "How dare you? You can't do this. It's unbelievable." Even the government at the time was still doing the same shit. They were going, "Oh, it's all your fault for not paying attention to it. It's not just our fault for saying that it's it's not that big of a deal in the first place." It's all the same shit again and again and again and again. The Spanish flu, same exact thing. The government goes, we'll do this, and then it all goes fucking wrong, and everyone goes in the fucking quarantine, and then they come out of it again. Everyone acts like everything's fine. Everyone forgets what they were supposed to do. You get a massive second spike, third lowest spike, and that's what we're looking for. And it's all these people who keep going, "Oh, but it's just the government trying to keep us down." Okay,
Yeah, I
There
hate
are
that. It makes
again.
no sense. No
It
sense
doesn't.
why that.
It makes no sense at all. Follow the money. Which
Yeah.
government wants to cripple their economy for the next 20 years for no reason at all? Oh, we'll just do that. We'll just do that. We won't be
Why
able to
not?
keep people under lock and key forever, but we'll just do that.
If you're gonna say to someone that did it on purpose, a conspiracy of one, like group that did it for a
Yeah.
reason, I would blame the social media people, Zuckerberg,
Yeah.
Bezos, and all them. Like I can't remember the
Yeah.
other guy's name. The Twitter
Billionaires
dude.
have made a fucking killing
Yeah,
during
they
this
got
shit because they've
together.
all just invested in everything that was still making money.
On Facebook and all that. Oh
yeah.
no, actually, Zoom, the guy who owns Zoom, I guarantee he did it.
I think that's a
Okay,
Chinese thing actually. So
there you go.
there you go.
And, like, as much as people want to argue it, it started in China. It's not a conspiracy to say it was in China. I don't understand why people are so not bitching about it, trying to figure out what the hell happened in the first place.
I don't know. Speaking of that, there's something in this bit I've got here that will show you how useless authorities can be at sorting out things like that. So,
was that a good little segue into our first story?
It could well be a good little segue into our first
it's 48 minutes in, so it's probably a good idea.
Yeah, that's a good little start. So, if you don't know what anthrax is, it's a pretty nasty biochemical thing that they used in various places. Started off in World War II. It's only advanced from there. What anthrax gives you is fever and chills, chest discomfort, shortness of breath, confusion or dizziness, cough, nausea, vomiting, stomach pains, headaches, sweats, often drenching sweats, body aches. It gives you gastrointestinal stuff if it's that kind of anthrax, which involves fevers, chills, swelling of the neck or neck glands, sore throat, painful swelling, hoarseness, nausea and vomiting, diarrhea or bloody diarrhea, headache, flushing, stomach pain, fainting, swelling of the abdomen and stomach, and it can fucking kill you. So,
yeah, I can imagine. It's like it's everything. You have everything.
It is basically everything, and not only that, it's a spore. It's like a fungus. So once it's somewhere, it's there for a very long time, which we'll find out more about later on.
I have heard a few things about anthrax. There was, is this anything to do with the anthrax letter thing, or?
This is a different thing, but the anthrax letter scare, I mean, that was huge news for a while, wasn't it? I mean, that was Tony Blair and just after, really, wasn't it? When people were starting to get anthrax threats.
Yeah, wasn't it a terrorist thing apparently again?
Yeah, it started off as a terrorist threat, and it happened once somewhere, and then every single letter was now an anthrax letter.
Yeah.
And there were people going like, "Oh, but what if I open the letter and it's anthrax?" All right, chill, Dave. You're a fucking plumber from East London. I think you'll be all right.
Fucking yeah, some of the fucking poisonings like Russia, like with the nerve agent,
the Novichok.
No, what is that again? I want to say
Novichok. Yeah,
it's not
Novichok. I think it is. No, it's not Novocaine. Novocaine's the stuff that they inject into your face.
Yeah. But anyway,
so we're going to take a little trip to Russia, to the lovely town of Sverdlovsk, because it's Russian. Yeah, now known as Yekaterinburg. But basically, Russia has been into the whole bioweapon thing for a very long time. As I say, starting in World War II. They weren't the only ones to do it. We did it ourselves. More on that later. The Americans have done it. China's done it. Japan. Everyone has fucked around with biological weapons at some point. In 1941... Sorry?
I was saying once one starts, they all do like with nukes in it as well.
Yeah, exactly. Because if you don't have that new toy in the toolbox, someone else might. And, deterrent. Because that's the way it works.
I love how aliens seem to have a thing about coming, like a lot of the stories are centered around coming down and deactivating nuke sites and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. It's like the day the Earth stood still. It's still one of my favorite sci-fi movies ever. Even the original or the remake.
Yeah,
both great films. Of course, the first one was more nuclear orientated, and the second one was more like ecological catastrophe.
climbing the climate change, any that kind of thing is what I remember.
But I mean, a hell of a story. Just the idea of, okay, we're going to come down and eradicate all of you unless you just fucking stop.
What it would take.
It basically is what it would take at this point.
Yeah, it really is.
So
No,
we're in. No, there isn't. It's just.
No.
And until we're basically told we're going to die, we're going to keep killing ourselves.
Yeah. and as well, like, we're going to keep pretending that aliens don't exist, even though the CIA have just released
more information.
2.2 million pages of reported documentation of confirmed cases, 700 confirmed cases.
Million. Now let's imagine only 1% of those are true. Still true. Still fucking there. Still fucking true.
All of these are confirmed ones in the sense they've looked into them and they don't know where they come from. So obviously they can't say it's aliens.
Unidentified flying object. They cannot prove. Yeah, it definitely was there. That's all we know.
Yeah. Oh, there's some great videos in that thing, man. I'm looking forward to you seeing. You have to let me know when you watch that. Yeah,
I'm definitely gonna have a watch. I'm gonna imbibe some stuff and then
have you got Prime?
Get involved. I do, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Although I did say to the person over the phone on Amazon, because they pissed me off so much, I was going to cancel Prime. But like, it's so convenient though.
It is, yeah.
It is, yeah. So yeah, in 1941, Russia opens its first bioweapons lab in the city of Kirov, which, to me, I just hear Kirov and I always think of the airships in Red Alert 2.
I was thinking Chicken Kiev.
Oh, did you never play Red Alert 2?
I did. Well, I played Red Alert in general, but I was never that into those kind of games back then. I like them a bit more now. They're the games I feel like should only be played on like a tablet or on your mobile.
Yeah, I sort of get that. In fact, why haven't strategy games made the leap onto tablets? They would fucking play excellently on tablets.
I'm sure they have. I'm sure I've played some.
Yeah, but they're all still the sort of microtransaction shit. If someone said to me, I tell you what, you want to play Command and Conquer Generals, which is by far the best one, especially 0 Hour, then yeah, I'd fucking play that all day.
I probably can. Like, you probably could get, maybe you have to get emulators, but then I suppose that would only work with tablets and just the whole thing then. Yeah,
and fuck Windows tablets. I mean, I like my Windows computer. I will always run a Windows computer, but tablets can suck a dick. Anyway.
Yeah, they already do.
Yeah. In 1942, a disease called tularemia, I think it is, it's hard to pronounce again, killed 100,000 people, a rise from 10,000 the previous year. This is during the middle of the fight of, Stalingrad, basically.
Okay.
German troops fell so ill during the assault in the late summer of 1942 that they had to halt the campaign, falling ill with a rare pulmonary form of tularemia, suggesting it was an aerosol, which is strange, as it was usually spread by tick bites.
Oh, right.
Now, they claim, the Russians, they had nothing to do with it. Couldn't have happened. But like, the idea that something leaps from just being intravenous to suddenly being a bioaerosol is very, very, very unfucking likely, especially as it never occurred again.
Yeah, okay.
So, yeah. We're basically setting up a plot here that Russia is not only very good at making bioweapons, but they're also not that great at protecting people from them.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't just German troops that fell ill. It was civilians, it was dogs, it was, everyone was getting fucked up by this disease.
I mean, going by, current world events, I don't think we can really take the mick out of Russia too much, considering Oh,
It
here we
didn't
are.
go. It didn't go nationwide. It didn't even go. It
Global.
didn't go international. It didn't even go nationwide. Yeah, it's significantly better than Wuhan.
Fuck you,
So
Wuhan. Actually, no, I'm
yeah.
sure it's a lovely place, but the lab that it came from,
Yeah.
fuck you. Sort your safety
What
protocols
pisses me
out.
off is in about fucking keep dropping things. In about 10, 20 years, it's going to be a major tourist attraction. Come see where the COVID virus started. This is ground zero for COVID. Come, get your COVID keychains and COVID necklaces and your COVID hat.
When you said it, that's what I was thinking, like Ground Zero. They've basically done the same thing for that, yeah.
They have, yeah. I didn't
Very
see
true.
that while I was in New York, and I really fucking should have done.
See?
But
just talking about it as if it's a tourist attraction, and it is basically
yeah,
now.
it is. It is just a tourist attraction. It's really strange.
It is really strange when you think about it, but yeah.
Yeah, and it's not going anywhere either. It's not like that's going to be a tourist attraction for a very long time. In fact, that's a conspiracy no one's considered before. Was it plotted by the tourist board of New York City? They're like, we're going to do some investment here, lads. Don't you worry. In about 10 years, we're going to be rolling in it.
I mean, it makes as much sense as everything else. It really does.
It does, yeah. Anyway, the actual accident we are talking about, as I say, Sverdlovsk or Yekaterinburg, in 1946, a bioweapon facility opened, right?
Mm-hmm.
The anthrax that they were working on had to be made into a fine powder to become an aerosol, much like tularemia. So you see what I mean? They've been working on this for a while. They've been getting this process sorted. However, can you think of any other big sort of explosive even accident that has involved Russia at any point? Chernobyl. Yeah. So again, we don't Russians as much as they know their shit, they tend to leave big flaws in the system. The flaw in this biosecurity system was that the only thing stopping the anthrax they were working on escaping was one set of filters on the outside of the building.
What?
Yep. They had to get airflow in and airflow out because of the way they were processing things. But they had little filters just on the top of the building, just in the areas, so that nothing could ever get out, because filters are strong Russian filter. It's good. Is better than the decadent Western filters that have too many pieces, too many filter pieces, too safe is not good.
So that's literally all they had, though. Like just
literally a filter. Just plop it in. Done.
Not even more going into the lab or anything,
Nope. They didn't have any clean room shit going on. They didn't have a sealed vault working on this shit. They just had an open building that they walked into wearing like masks and stuff, and just went, "Yeah, this is good. Good anthrax. Yes, it's very nice. It smells good."
When is this now you're on about?
1946. Although the actual incident, the actual incident happens in 1979. So this place has been going for a long ass time working on this kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But on Friday, the 30th of March, 1979, a technician removes a clogged filter while the drying machines were safely turned off. Right? So standard process, everything's fine.
Yeah.
But he looks around and he goes, there is no other filter. I shall tell my superior officer. He shall tell everyone else. Everything will be fine. So he tells his superior officer, and his superior officer doesn't make a note in the logbook.
Okay.
So, following day, a supervisor walks into the bio facility. He's like, Everything is good. Everything is nice. I checked logbook. Logbook said everything fine. Okay, let's go. Turn on machine. And fires a shit ton of anthrax out into the local vicinity around them for an extended period of time because no one's checking the filter because the filter's fine, is in place, is good, is good.
Fuck, managers
Yep.
always do that kind of shit as well. I can completely see that happening too.
Yeah, it's like when you tell a manager, like, oh, by the way, I can't work Wednesday next week. It's like, okay, I'll sort that out for you. You go in the following day. You're on Wednesday all day. Like, fucking...
Yeah. There was something to
Yeah.
do with Wednesday and Nathan. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, he wanted Wednesday. That's it. Yeah. So, we have a big problem going on here. We've got a shitload of this stuff pumping out into the random area. And the local area starts to suffer. Across the street is a bed making factory or something like that. It was a food processing factory.
Yeah. Okay.
Of some kind. And I think it's 100 and something people ended up getting sick from it. Like overnight started getting sick from it. All of the things you get with anthrax, all of these nasty things. And the worst part is that this particular type of anthrax wasn't like any of the others. It was designed to be vaccine proof.
Oh, God. That makes sense.
It was designed to be a bioweapon.
It's like... It'd be like letting out a bull or, I don't know, like a Tyrannosaurus Rex, I don't know what I came to make it, to go and eat like your enemies and then being shocked when it turns around and he looks at you and starts
eats you. Yeah. Yeah. It's like, go kill it, my pet. No, don't look at me. But of course, this is Russia. They cannot admit that anything is wrong with the scenario at all. So the official response, it's reported to military command, but not local or city officials. So it's like, we have problem. People might die. What should we do? Tell military. What about people live nearby? До свидания. Is nothing. So the result is all workers across the street, here we go, 111, 105 people die. This is only the official tally because it's proven that the KGB went into the hospital afterwards and burned the hospital's files.
Oh, what a shocker.
What a fucking shocker. So, of course, eventually this gets out. Eventually people know something has happened because of the deaths in the meat plant. So they have to inform the UN, and the UN sends someone over. I think it was the UN anyway. Or no, it wasn't the UN at that time. Well, whatever. But they send a guy called Matthew Messelson.
Oh, good old Messelson.
Messelson, yes. Matthew Messelson from Harvard. He checks the story out.
They send a Harvard dude over to Russia to go for the KGB stuff. That's the person to send.
They're obviously going to just tell him all of the information. They're not going to lie to him at all.
Tom Cruise and stuff, for we know, like going Mission Impossible on like during the night. Or James Bond, but you know what I mean.
Do you want to know the worst bit though? This happened in 1986. There's been 7 years since the asbestos leak until Matthew Messelson was on site.
Okay. You said asbestos.
How are you supposed to do any investigation on anything at all after 7 fucking years?
Yeah, I mean, I'm guessing a lot of that was because they tried to keep it quiet for a while. But how long? Do you know how long from when, like, the UN or whatever it was found out about it to when they eventually had boots on the ground, as they say?
Well, this is the problem. It was literally, I think it was released information about it in 1983, I think it was, or 1982. So even then, it's still a while before anything gets done about this shit. But later on, right, so he goes to the processing plant, and after a 4-day trip, he just goes, yeah, everything's fine. This is probably just some form of nasty, virus or something that people got from the meat. There's nothing wrong here at all. So later in 1989, 3 years later, the Russian authorities admit it was a bioaerosol made in a lab. They're like,
it was us. We did
this was us. His slight problem is teeny weensy lie. Not big lie, teeny weensy.
Whenever I hear the aerosol thing as well, I can't help but just imagine a Lynx Africa bottle or something like that, just squirting anthrax out. Every time I hear it.
Yeah. Especially like there's did you ever play was it Pandemic or Outbreak or whatever it was on the phone?
Oh, yeah, well, Plague.
That's it, Plague Incorporated. Yeah, and if you go right to the end of it, one of them's called an extreme bioaerosol. And that's like, that's the 48-hour protection, mate.
I love that game, that Plague one. That was really good.
It was really good game, like ridiculously good game.
We should have sort of
also taught me a weirdly large amount about this pandemic.
Yeah, that's exactly what I mean.
Saying.
We should have took a lot of warning from that game.
Yeah, like genuinely, you look at it and you go like, well, this many it spikes first and then it spikes later after more mutations, and then it does. Fucking fascinating.
And if the government don't actually do the smart thing and close the fucking airports, I swear there's some airports, or there's some kind of, not right now because we're on lockdown technically.
Yeah,
but they were still letting people fly to places, and I swear they announced it was like anyone to
that was so dumb. And Priti Patel
already.
Yeah, and Priti Patel recently came out and said, "Oh yes, we should have closed the borders back in March 2020." Who the fuck was Home Secretary then? Oh yes, it was you.
Oh, fucking hell.
Fucking moron. Everyone loves Priti Patel so much just because she's vaguely hot, as we've said before. I would hate fuck Priti Patel.
Oh, I saw her.
I'm still firmly holding that stance. I don't care what anyone says.
Let me check her out again because I saw it. Because
she's the hot vampire chick. That's the way to describe her probably best. As soon as you see her, you know exactly what I mean.
I thought it is English, isn't it?
Oh yeah, she is English. Yeah.
Yeah. For some reason, when I first saw it, I thought it was Secretary of State for America. I don't know why.
No.
I mean, she's all right. Sure, she's just not an old white dude.
That's the thing. That's the thing, though, isn't it? That's the thing. That's why Kamala Harris will be the hottest presidential vice president ever, because she's not a white dude.
Yeah. Okay. Let's be fair. I would not be surprised if Biden doesn't last very long anyway. So she might be the first president.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that's going to happen.
What a way for that to happen. The first woman president goes in because she's vice president, and the other guy just, the 70s.
To be fair,
guy just
I know
died.
it sounds bad, but it may be the only way that a woman could become president. There are still a huge amount of Americans out there who, when they're asked, would you vote for a female president? They go, absolutely not. We need a man who's going to be in control and keep shit going. And could you imagine how pussy-ass a woman would be when it came to war? She wouldn't blow them up straight away. To which I go, well, have you seen Margaret Thatcher? She was very into war. She loved that shit.
Yeah, I think we had that so much earlier. Like, it's just...
Yeah.
We've had quite a few now, actually. We had Theresa May, we had Margaret Thatcher.
Yeah.
They're the only ones.
Those are the only ones so far. But, I mean, it's not a bad track record. It's annoying that both of them had to be conservative, and we still haven't had any from anywhere else. But
it's fucking ridiculous the way the difference between, like, Mum was asking me the other day when all the stuff for Biden's inauguration was going on. She was like, what is an inauguration? I was like, it's just when they're handing over power to him. It's like the exact thing we do over here. It's just we don't make a big huge fucking show about it.
Yeah, we just go on into number 10. Everything's fine.
Yeah.
Whilst they go da 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 da.
The little thing on the news of him waving and stuff and walking in.
Yeah,
that's the most you get.
Because it's sort of equivalent if the monarchy changed, like when the Queen dies and we have the Prince, is it when is it that's going to take over?
Charles.
Well, that's if he gets named, because she could well just sort of skip the generation and go straight to what's his face.
I don't think she can. I think he can refuse it. But
Oh no, she can. She gets to name the successor. He could literally just remain as Prince of Wales, and she could just go, yeah, give it to the grandkids.
I swear there was.
Because that's sort of what happened to her mum in a way, I guess.
I swear there was some discussion about it before, but then that he said something that he would take it now, or something like that.
Yeah, probably.
It's fucking ridiculous. Anyway, that means nothing. That's even worse than all that stuff. That's even worse than the American thing. The royal family.
I think that's basically the equivalent, because to them it's sort of that's the leader of the country. That is the highest.
Yeah, but we don't vote for a new queen every 4 years. So.
Yeah, this is the thing, isn't it? It's like they've got to make a big deal out of it. Yeah.
What a shock! It's the country's divided all the time.
Yeah, we'll just be very British about it. We'll have some coronation chicken and get on with it.
Anyway,
right. Yeah. So Messelson returns, and this time puts together eyewitness accounts with a map of cases showing it's clearly a bioaerosol being picked up by the wind. So sort of by the map, you can see that it's spread in the direction of the wind flow at the time and has just sort of settled.
Yeah, you can imagine that.
He also managed to get a few more hospital records, which indicate a possible release of anthrax into the air in the actual wording, which had previously been hidden up by the KGB. So, it's unclear if the facility is still in use to this day, or just protected to avoid contagion. But
the lab.
But Russia have not stopped making bioweapons.
Well, they wouldn't need to quarantine the lab because of it all, because that was the one place it was in to begin with anyway. It's the fact it got out there that was the issue.
Yeah, but this is the thing. Outside the lab is now contaminated, and anthrax spores can last hundreds of years.
Oh shit! Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Something thinking about Anthrax Island. Could this possibly be what this is? Well, no, it's not an island.
Oh, yeah, we're coming to that in a bit. Don't you worry about that, son. Right, so this was so Russia haven't stopped basically making bioweapons. In 1992, they were brought up on more bioweapons releases. In somewhere else in the 80s, they were brought up on more bioweapons releases. Basically, don't trust Russia with bioweapons. They can't fucking store them, right?
Okay, that's
yeah.
All right.
So here's the interesting bit, though. I mentioned before that it was a modified version of anthrax and designed to sort of avoid being affected by vaccines. That was only discovered very recently, because people finally managed to get the data, partially due to COVID, I believe, although I'm not sure how accurate that part of the story was. But the identification of it became a lot easier due to the technology that they've developed recently. Yeah. And it was confirmed that it was genetically modified, not just, whatever.
Yeah, not
just the KGB saying it was this, that, or the other, or just it was created in the lab as an aerosol. No, this was specifically designed to be unfucking relentless and kill anything it came into contact with. There's plenty of evidence that the actual death toll was significantly higher. We're not talking, an extra 100. We're talking hundreds of extra people who have been, killed and didn't even know it was anthrax that fucking killed them, because they would have just gone, I've got this horrible, horrible stomach flu or something, and it's fucking me up.
Well, yeah, it'd be ridiculous to just come up with it must be anthrax. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
You just wouldn't know.
Yeah.
It would have been a hell of a lot worse as well if they'd have had well, they were lucky, I guess, with it being Russia. It's a very sparsely populated place, ain't it? That would happen.
Yeah, I mean, this is
somewhere
the thing.
China,
Like,
for example.
the vast majority of the deaths were literally from a place across the street, because that's, you know, you can't
Yeah.
really escape it at that distance. But there is a second story I wanted to tell you about. Now, this story is our version of Fun with Anthrax.
Oh, God, okay.
Because the British liked anthrax too, but we did it in a significantly different way.
Right.
So,
I didn't know about this.
again, World War II, we are working on an anthrax strain and trying to make it into a bioaerosol. And to test it out, we found a lovely little island called Grignard Island, just off of Scotland, right? And
Okay.
we thought, what we'll do, get a load of sheep, right? Right, lads, we'll get a load of sheep, we'll ship them over to this island, right? We'll get them off, just let them enjoy
Get your
themselves.
penis out of it, Thomas. Carry
Get
on.
it out, Thomas.
Put it back in then. Okay, now stop.
Okay, keep it there just to keep it warm. If I see any movement, there's a problem. So they ship all of these sheep onto this island, and they think the best way to test this anthrax is to bomb the living shit out of them. So we get a load of Lancasters, we fly it over this island, we just start dropping bombs, man. Dropping shit tons of bombs. Now, the government were paying these people at the time, the person who owned the island, a small amount to sort of keep it together, just while the testing was going on. You know, no big deal. And once it was
Anthrax
safe,
bombs, is that what you meant?
oh yeah, proper anthrax
Yeah.
bombs. They put
Yeah.
anthrax in them as a sort of way to release it.
Yeah.
But this guy, you know, goes, oh, yeah, if you'd ever want to buy the island back, you can buy it off of us for a cool £500, which is dirt cheap for an island.
Mm. But
the sheep all die very quickly. Anthrax, really fucking good at killing sheep. So
you know what? That's pretty bad.
yeah. No fucking shit.
Everyone.
He got one in. It's all good.
Yeah.
So yeah, we figure out, you know, don't go near this fucking island. It's got huge amounts of warnings on it, but it takes a while for people to finally discover what's going on. And the only reason people do discover what's going on is because one of the sheep's corpses floats off into the waves, lands on the shore, a dog eats it, and then immediately starts dying of anthrax because there's a huge amount of anthrax on that fucking ship.
It has lands on the shore as well. Like, shut up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, but yeah, okay. So it's finally got over there, though.
It's finally got over there. Yeah, and like loads of people start having issues with it. People get bought out of homes and things. You know, huge amounts of contamination work goes on. We're actually not that bad at cleaning up this kind of shit when we need to. Yeah, unlike Russia. So
that's debatable right now.
It's debatable, but you know, yeah.
There we are.
But here is the best fucking bit, Carl. I want you to get whatever device you can get out right now. And I want you to put in Grunyard Island. Now, it is spelt Gruin.
UIN.
ARD.
I think I got it.
Island. Yep.
Grunyard.
And I would just like you to go quickly to the stars they have under it for the reviews.
Wait.
Oh, I can't get it up. Can you see any of the community questions and answers?
Yeah. You can't
read
get it
some of them out.
There's 69 reviews. That's even better.
Yeah.
Okay. 10 out of 10. Breath smells fantastic. Bad thing is dead animal bodies lying around. I don't know why. That's from Jimmy's official.
Yeah.
John Hunter said, "What a bad grammar. I'll help him out. What an excellent getaway destination. Miles of undisturbed tranquility. And if you're looking for somewhere to grow the ever popular skunk weed in abundance, then this is the place to do it. The smell of rotting sheep ensures you won't get caught due to the pungent growing smells.
And it's just list after like question after question, review after review mentioning dead sheep, anthrax.
Some people saying there was someone called Anthrax here. Never seen him during my trip. 8 out of 10. Lost 2 points for dead animal bodies lying around.
Yeah. See, this is why I love the British. We may be shit at keeping masks on. We may be shit at doing all this stuff, but we know how to have a good laugh at dead shit.
Yeah. One of the most peaceful vacations I've ever been on. Not a soul in sight. The water tastes a little funny though. Oh, keep reading this.
Yeah, it does have a good ending, the story. In the end, the island is actually technically safe at this point. They've done a huge amount of decontamination on the island. They've cleared it all out. And the person who originally sold the island to the military for the testing, they died, and their not ancestor, whatever it is, relative later on, managed to buy it back for that £500, but in modern money, so it was fucking dirt cheap.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So all's well that ends well in the amazing world of anthrax.
I like how they did all that decontamination, you know, so that people can go and visit that what looks like just a bare island.
Just a bare island full of dead sheep.
All the decontamination, but it's just dead sheep lying around.
Yeah, I find that so good. I love that so much that is the British mentality. Let's make a joke of it.
Oh no, that was good.
There we go.
Like that.
Yeah.
Right then. Anyway, then. So let me jump onto my. Oh, actually, before I do that, just a quick reminder for everyone that season 2 of KD's Comedian Quiz Off will be returning on the 27th of January. So that's this Wednesday, as you'll be watching this now on Monday.
Hell yeah.
So that will return on the 27th of January. Still sorting out the lineup and all that, and it will continue at least every 2 weeks. I might do the odd one extra as well, but just at the very least, I said it when it started, and I'm going to keep doing it. It's going to continue until we're back to some kind of normality.
Yeah,
and even then,
that's the way to do it.
Yeah, but actually, no, I'll leave that.
The plan is, people, to build this up as much as we can now, so eventually you'll want to come and see a live show. How fucking good would that be?
That'd be amazing. I've been dreaming about that lately. I'm like actually dreaming about like doing a gig again. Just so much that everyone just must want to just get out. Every time I go to talk on something, I'm like, there's so much I want to get out, but I can't get it all out.
Yeah, I tried going through my old stand-up bits again recently, and I can still remember most of them. But like the New York stuff that I was working on most recently, that's just fractured. Like I can remember the good bits, but in a lot of ways, I think that might be good because like it was 10 minutes, but a slow 10 minutes. And if I can sort of just remember all the best bits and make it a tight 5, that'd be way better.
Anyway, then. So my story then. This is, let me find the lady. Okay, so this is a story of this lady right here, Miss Jennifer San Marco. Okay, or as I like to dub her, the Lady Postal Spree Killer. Lady Postman Spree Killer, sorry. Lady Postman. Yeah. Okay, so a little bit about her first then. So Miss Marco. I was
going to say Postal. Is she voiced by Rick Hunter or something like that?
I don't know who that is.
Gaming joke. It's a very deep cut gaming joke, but someone might get it.
I heard Hitman 3 came out recently.
Oh yeah, I'm never really played much of the Hitman stuff. It was always too slow paced for me, and it was like you got to figure this shit out, and it's like, nah, can I just shoot them?
That's the kind of games I like. So
yeah.
So she was born in Brooklyn, New York. She eventually studied natural. It doesn't matter. Blah blah. She went to college doing some random things. She did that, and she was in 1989. She came to California, where she was hired as a guard at a medium security Chuckawalla Valley State Prison in Blythe, which is a great name. Chuckawalla.
Yeah.
Literally nothing to do with the story, but I like that name, so I had to include it.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah.
But she quit 2 days before her probation period ended. Never gave a reason for quitting, but was described as a good worker. She held down.
Respect that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Held down a number of jobs, though, including working as a dispatcher for the Santa Barbara Police Department in the mid-90s. A job for which she underwent a background check and a psychological evaluation, which will make more sense. That's why I mentioned that later. She left the job after several months and eventually became a lunch lady before also quitting that in 2000. Yeah, 2000.
Right.
So this now is up to the point where we're a bit more up to date with the actual story.
Yeah.
She eventually bought a condominium and went to work for the postal service as a clerk. The documentary I watched talked to a few different people that she was working with during this time.
Right.
Pretty much all of them thirsty old men. They all described her as pretty, flirty, very talkative. That kind of
All
girl.
that we ever notice, isn't it? It doesn't matter if someone's like, I'm guessing, I think I know where this is going, but it doesn't matter if someone's creepy as shit. But
I can't say anything though, because every girl I go for is fucking crazy. It's my thing.
I can't argue either. Like I've watched that JCS criminal psychology thing on YouTube, and it's just like interviews with people, and all of these murderous chicks are fine as fuck, and I don't know why. God, it's annoying, man. It's like, can you just not kill me, and then it'll be a great relationship.
It's like people always there's totally people that are into that anyway. They fully accept they're into that because like people who marry like murderers and stuff.
Oh yeah, there's people who seek out people on death row and try and have babies with them in like the whatever it is trailers that they have.
Like dating ads and everything. I was seeing someone talking about how they love like long walks on the beach and that and all this. Like on death row, no, you don't.
And good luck with that. At most, what you can do is you can have a stroll on a fucking treadmill next to a poster. That's like that's your maximum holiday.
And you're still probably going to be a bit uncomfortable with all the anal leakage at that point. So. But she was very talkative and flirty. Said she was always open for conversation, but somehow at the same time she was very standoffish, as if like she always had like a wall up or something. Know a few girls like that. Yeah. Some opinions about San Marco have differed during this time, but one thing that they all shared was having some form of interaction with San Marco while she was talking to an imaginary friend. So she had an imaginary friend.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she wasn't a Christian either.
Thing is, the thing is, that's cute when you're like in single figure years.
Yeah.
The minute you turn 10, you shouldn't have an imaginary friend anymore.
It goes from being cute to being a fucking
a fucking psycho. Yeah.
Not much was known about her imaginary friend other than the testimonies of the various people that had heard her talking to it. The interactions had become more and more heated over time until management were eventually forced to intervene. So this was in the postal office, remember?
Yeah.
She left
and people do go postal, and it is a thing. And
sometimes.
Yeah.
She left on psychological disability following a 2003 incident in which she was pulled out from under a mail sorting machine that had to be wheeled from her workplace by police in handcuffs.
What the fuck was she doing?
They didn't go into much detail about that, but from what I saw in the documentary, I mean, it was just a lot of getting angry at her manager.
So she hid under a machine.
The one thing you will learn from this is not to question her her logic.
Her methods. She.
Yeah. Forget about that already, man.
Yeah, no, this isn't going to go a normal way, is it? This isn't going to be a standard weird murder mystery. This is going to get fucked.
I mean, to be fair though, the company itself were kind of weird because they let her return after this.
Why?
She was again removed from the building due to her erratic behaviour, and that time never returned, and was
Right.
even socialised at a Ventura mental hospital for 3 days after the arrest. But then she let herself out.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe she shouldn't have done that. Maybe she shouldn't have had the option. You'd think if someone sort of got to that point, maybe just sort of question whether they're allowed to go from their own free will.
But it might not go the way you're expecting it to, because after that, she actually, after leaving the postal service, she decided to go and live with parents in some other state somewhere. But on the way there, her car broke down in Grants, New Mexico, and she took this as a sign from the universe that she should live there. So she did.
Okay.
Yep. You know, the small town of Grants, San Marco earned a reputation for strange behaviour, funnily enough.
What a surprise.
It included speaking or sometimes furiously shouting to herself / imaginary friend, ordering food at restaurants and bolting out of the door before eating it. She would start stripping naked in public, often usually in random parking lots, stuff like that. Kneeling and praying in random places, sometimes at the same time while naked, and talking to an imaginary friend, screaming death threats and yelling profane rap lyrics, especially. She liked rap.
Okay, now she is my new favourite best friend, because this sounds like a fucking legendary night out.
You might want to take that back, because in July 2004, she was denied a business license to begin publishing a periodical, so like a newspaper, which would have been known as the Racist Press.
Okay.
Although, in all fairness, apparently, from reading it, there was some policemen on about this. He was surprised to learn, because he thought exactly what you probably thought then, is all racist stuff.
Oh, is she racist against white people?
No, she's just condemning racism in general, just going on.
Oh, thank fuck for that, because that was the only thing that could have been weirder, is if this milk toast white woman who's gone crazy was just like, oh, by the way, I hate the white race.
Honkies.
Yeah, fucking honkies, crackers, I'll get you. Maybe just don't show her a mirror, okay, lads? Otherwise, this is going to get real dark real quick.
See, at one point, was also said she wanted to register a cat food business and was rejected because she lived in an unincorporated area of Cibola County. I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
But while being interviewed there, she would often talk to herself, and after the rejection, she would frequently come to the office and stare at an employee named Sonia Salazar. Great name.
Oh, shit.
And asked to see her. She was often told to hide when San Marco came into the office. She once made a rude accusation that she had slept with someone, and authorities were called. And she was also, police were also called on her when she went naked again at a gas station. But she was closed.
Why was she allowed in the building? Why was it like, oh, by the way, the crazy bitch who keeps on making threats at you's here again? You may as well hide. No, course.
I've worked in places where you just can't help the crazy people. I used to work in the bookies in Chelmsford Wood. The crazy people just come. They just come in. No matter what happens, they'll come in.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't really say no to someone who's crazy without, force, really, can you?
Yeah, you can say it, but it doesn't matter what you say. They won't hear it.
No. They'll just hear what they wanted to hear from the magical pixie people.
So the run-ins with authorities became frequent, and she was once admonished for driving half naked as well. She eventually sold her condominium after various arguments with a neighbour over noise complaints, and would eventually tell people after a few years of this that she was going to go visit her sister on the East Coast. Yeah, but just before she left, one thing she did, well, not just before she left, like a year before or something. She applied for a Glock 99 handgun from a pawn shop. She went through the 2 weeks thingy.
waiting period, yeah.
All fine, she got it. And apparently from the evidence from her house afterwards, it seems as though she spent a lot of time practicing and becoming quite proficient with said gun.
Yeah.
Which was evidenced later on.
Yeah, okay. This is the problem with people in America who go like, you can't take away my right to own a gun. It's like some people kind of shouldn't. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
You know, like not every person is going to be smart with a gun. I'm not sure I'd trust myself with a gun, if I'm honest.
I don't think I.
Nah, I've gotten fucking depressed at moments, mate, and I am not going to let myself have a fucking Magnum round when I do it.
Just because it's just one, it's just nothing. It's like, done.
Yeah, and it's like that fucking Phil Spencer thing happened in the news recently. You know, that musician guy who ended up, you know, killing someone and he died recently of COVID. Did you ever read the story about that?
No, it doesn't ring a bell.
He was either sleeping with this actress or doing something weird with this actress, and because he's such a fucking psycho, he thought, you know, what would be cool if I put a gun in her mouth.
Oh, yeah, and what? He killed her.
Yeah, whether he intentionally pulled the trigger, whether he thought it was unloaded, whether he thought it, whatever happened, he shot her through the fucking head.
Yeah,
some people should not be allowed guns.
You can't unintentionally squeeze a trigger like that.
Yeah, exactly. Especially in that scenario, like fucking hell.
Maybe she grabbed it and squeezed it a bit, you know, thinking it was empty and got a bit into it.
Maybe, but the weird thing about Phil Spencer is the way he dealt with it. He sort of walked down afterwards. Apparently, got into his car where his driver was waiting. And just went, "Oh, I think I've killed someone."
Shocked though.
Yeah. Sorry. Anyway, you're saying.
So the main bit of the story. So what happened on 30th of January 2006? So this is recent-ish. Okay, yeah. So she drove from her Santa Barbara condominium, but not before she shot and killed Beverly Graham, her now that she'd been having arguments with over the noise complaints.
Right. Yeah. I was suspecting that would be the start.
But we didn't know about that until like days afterwards. So she wasn't playing for a while. But then from there, she drove straight to the mail processing plant in Galata, California. So no stops, no nothing. Drove straight from. I don't know how far it is, but I know everything takes a long time to drive.
Well, I mean, she's naked. She can just go for a dump whenever she needs. She doesn't have to stop.
The only thing I was thinking of was like doing all of that, and then what comes after is like you did all of that with a full bladder.
Yeah,
I couldn't do that. I can't even.
It's like that person who put a nappy on, the NASA woman who went all the way to somewhere to try and kill her love rival, and she actually bought adult diapers to do it.
What?
Did you know? Oh, mate, that's a story and a half. I might do that next week. I might tell you that one next week. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, keep that in the back burner.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So she got all the way to there. So, and she got into the parking lot of the mailing plant by tailgating another car as it passed through. She gained what would give her entry into the building by taking an employee's identification badge at gunpoint in order to get through the secure staff entrance.
Yeah.
That employee to go to run off, and he did. He just ran off.
Smart move.
Yeah, but it doesn't say that whether he then called the police. That would have been a smarter move.
That is the smarter move. Yes,
yeah.
That is galaxy brain thinking. That's
but you know, I mean, he might have done. I don't know. There's no. But at 9 p.m. she was walking through the parking lot. She shot the Fairchild, who was 37, in the head of the building's parking lot. She then also saw Malika Higgins and shot her a point blank. Walked up to her, shot her a point blank range, and then did the same thing to Nicola Grant outside too.
Damn it, she sounds like the fucking Iceman.
Yes, that's one thing that a lot of them said, that she didn't seem bothered by it. She was just pure. What's the
No, but that is literally the Iceman's MO to a certain degree. Do you know who
Yeah.
the Iceman was?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
mafia
And the guy
hitman.
who literally just tested them shooting in their fucking head with a fucking crossbow.
Oh yeah,
Did you hear that?
Before, yeah.
Yeah. Like, that is exactly the same thing. You've got to have no soul at all to think that that's fucking okay, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. At this point, yeah, well, yeah, she was definitely going fucking crazy.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to try and get into her mindset, actually.
No.
Yeah, I mean, I love psychology and stuff, and I try to figure things out. It's like, hey, I'm not
Yeah.
even going
If you do that too much, you will end up sending people dead rats like fucking Jared Leto did in the Suicide Squad.
Yeah. But I won't have my park, though. Some workers, after hearing gunshots, went to the windows to see what was happening. Most of them knew her, so they recognised her straight away. She reportedly turned to them, seen them at the window, and smiled at them, which is creepy. Several employees fled after this to a nearby, tried to get out of the building to a fire station, but I don't know why that's included there, because I know most of them didn't make it out. Yeah, she entered the building, which had around 18 employees inside at the time, and continued firing. Walking into the complex, she shot supervisor Charlotte Colton, who was then dragged into a room by a co-worker. She would die 2 weeks later in Cottage Hospital. Sam Marker headed to a former workstation where she used to go, and she encountered, oh God, Guadalupe Schwartz, who saw her
Nicely done.
Thank you. Who called
That's
her
a nice combination of Mexican and German words there. That's hard.
Yeah, Guadalupe Schwartz. I was thinking more African. Guadalupe.
Oh, it could be, yeah.
I didn't know until I say until recently, until about 5 months ago, that actually no, it was just before lockdown, so that was probably over a year ago now. That when you see African names, the apostrophe means the sound.
Oh,
yeah,
that's cool to know. Yeah,
but where did I get to? I lost myself with my own random fact. Okay, yeah. So San Marco, after this, and after shooting Guadalupe Schwartz, rapidly fired 4 shots into Schwartz, killing her. Oh, it's her. Okay, I thought it was a guy.
Yeah.
Dexter Shannon, an Air Force veteran of the Vietnam War with grandchildren, heard nothing of the gunshots as he was working with his headphones on. He was fatally shot at point blank range. She just walked up, shot him. This was down a random little. I remember seeing this on the plan of where she went shooting them all. This was down a random little corridor, so he had no clue. Yeah. Fucking being in the Vietnam War like a war veteran, and that's how he went.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. Literally spent entire fucking years keeping his eye out for people who are trying to kill him, and then the one time he thinks he's fucking safe in a janitor's fucking uniform, he gets taken out. That's fucked.
Yeah. But she then did the usual thing by what they normally do and shot herself in the head. And that was that.
Yeah. It's a fucking classic story, but yeah.
I've always said this, whenever it comes, not necessarily freakers, I suppose that's kind of different, but I've always thought when it comes to any kind of murderers, any kind of serial killers, anything, they have to use a gun. It's just lazy. It's just pure laziness. There's no creativity to it. So what are you doing?
You want some jigsaw shit. You want some fucking bear traps on people's heads. You want
put into it. Don't just pull and shoot.
Yeah. It's just lazy. Boring and lazy.
Yeah. Have some fucking yeah.
Yeah, no, that's the fucking thing about America as well, though. Like, they keep on wondering why they've got so much gun crime, and they go, no, but you can't take away my guns. Okay, then we'll fund your mental health. Nah, that's going to cost us too much money, and I want to spend that on guns.
I want guns.
Yeah.
It's like, I swear I heard of something like 3 or 4 guns for each citizen of America, for each person.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's people out there who have enough guns in America to literally arm their own mob. You know, they could just go, here's your fucking gun, have a Remington. Here, have a fucking Smith & Wesson. You want an MP5? It's yours. Like, fucking
You saying that
madness.
reminded me of something I wanted to say, because it was you that was saying at one point that you thought there was possibly something more to the whole mob mentality, weren't you? When people get together and it just takes over.
There's a psychological thing that happens in those scenarios where people become less thoughtful in lots of ways. Yeah.
Or is it like, because this kind of keys into what I was saying with like the interdimensional, the alien stuff, and they're saying about how thought connects us all by, because I don't think I actually fully explained it.
Yeah.
The fifth Close Encounter of the Fifth Kind, like what you actually do, because they went through it and talked to you about it and told you how to do it. What it is sit there for about 10-15 minutes, just, you know, like meditate, get your mind empty as possible.
Yeah.
And then after that time, what you're apparently supposed to do is just believe in your own thought, believe in your own mind. It's the only way it ever works. And just imagine a UFO in the sky. You just know it's there. You connect to it, and then you essentially tell the UFO. You imagine it all, like Google Maps, how you would then get to eventually your house. You know, imagine it all, the journey, and zoom in from, you know, like wherever. And that's
that sort of calls it towards it in a way.
Yeah. And apparently it works a lot better when there's a big group. And it's ridiculous how they do that. And it works. Like they some lights pop up in the sky anyway. Sometimes it does certain things they ask it to do. Sometimes they'll ask it to come back. Yeah, and there's I mean, ridiculous amounts of footage. Like when you see it, just the whole like 2-hour documentary just constantly showing different UFOs. And most of them, it says where they're from. Most of them are from CE5 events and that. It's weird, man. It's weird. And they go into a lot of scientific explanations about it as well, like how the idea of thought, like, because we, you know, just have based everything on like light and the physical, what we can see, what we can touch, etc., rather than a civilization that based it all on thought. And the idea of like people in a group together, the thought could, you know, we all kind of share this one thought. Consciousness, that's the idea. Consciousness is just one thing that binds us all.
Shit, before I forget.
So that could make us all mob mentality kind of thing.
Yeah, that's really cool. This is a completely different thing. But, you know, you're talking about the idea of ghosts and how they could connect to an alien type thing.
Yeah.
Well, one of my friends ages ago when I was a kid, he said that he was absolutely convinced ghosts were real, but he wasn't sure that they were dead, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So same sort of thing, because apparently at one point while he was sleeping, he had a Jenga block set up next to his bed because he had that sort of mind where he had to sort of put things in order and keep it there, if you know what I mean.
OCD.
Yeah, that kind of thing. And apparently, whilst he was sort of sleeping at one point, he woke up because he heard sort of motion and saw the Jenga blocks moving around by themselves and being manipulated and stuff like that. Well, weird tangent, but do you know what, you know, nano machines are and how they work?
What, just the concept of like just tiny little robots?
Tiny little robots, but working together en masse to do certain things.
Like in Big Hero 6.
Yeah, there's a theory in the universe where there's a theory in science where you could have clouds of nanomachines that do things in certain ways. Now, if you're an alien and you have nanotech technology, so you can have tiny cameras on all of these little droids that have produced, each one of them only has to be one diode of the screen because there's millions of them and you get a perfect picture of clarity, right? And they've all got these little things. What if you could have a cloud of nanomachines moving around, studying a world, manipulating things, testing things out? You'd never be able to see them. You'd never be able to detect them, but they would be able to study life perfectly. They'd be able to take samples of life without the life even knowing that the sample had been taken, because they just land on you, take a cell and fly the fuck away.
Tiniest little thing.
Yeah. Why is that not a potential thing for it? You know, I don't know.
Maybe from what you said though, if that was the case, you just wouldn't know about it.
Well, exactly.
Or you're saying is that an explanation for ghosts, or?
Well, it could be the explanation for ghosts. It could be that that's a completely different thing. But I just think that is a fascinating little concept to think about, because people keep trying to sort of identify some form of solid thing. And we've seen less and less straight up alien sightings and a lot more like UFO sightings and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Well, that kind of thing would be really easy to deploy. You wouldn't need to take up a lot of space because it's basically a gas.
Well,
you see what I mean?
Yeah,
you can store all of the nanomachines in a tight area, then expand them out, and they become this thing. And I don't know, man. I don't know why.
That could be something they're doing, and the bigger UFOs you see, they're like collecting them again, you know, taking them back for. These, there's so much more like to that documentary that I wanted to explain to you, like the science of it and that, because it's really interesting. And I can't fucking remember it. It's so hard to get your head around as well. But it's like the ghost stuff talking that was on about. It's like telling about how that could be. Well, this wasn't included in it, so it's just you'll see why I've had this, or why I was thinking about it at the time.
Yeah.
Talking about how it's like something phasing in and out of this dimension and that. And a lot of the behaviour they show with the UFOs as well mimics that. Because it's like they had a particular way of explaining it, but I can't remember the example that they used. But just imagine if it's on another dimension, it's going to pop through every now and then, because they're on like, I don't know what, like 7 dimensions, we're in 3. But those 3 dimensions they're still in, so we could still see that bit crossing over every now and then, come through to us as ghosts or with whatever.
That's potential, The other thing as well is, have you seen
so there's something there.
Yeah. Have you seen there's a Canadian company that made a almost perfectly working invisibility shield?
Yeah, I have seen that.
Yeah. That kind of tech as well is like, that's the start of something there. That could always be involved as well. Yeah.
That's just light bending, isn't it, essentially?
Yeah. And also, talking of different universes, different dimensions, they've recently been talking more and more about potentially being able to prove whether or not we are actually part of a parallel universe. Because like, apparently some scientists have seen a glimpse of something that would suggest that yes, there is at least one other dimension, one other parallel universe.
Well, they've seen it apparently.
Yeah, I can't remember the exact thing. I'll see if I can find it.
I thought of something else that I wanted to remember, that I wanted to tell you about. The whole conscious, the idea for the power of force is like, and consciousness is what they're talking about like people. There's a lot more power to your thought in general, and you can actually quantify it in this one experiment that they do. There's a few different experiments, but one, for example, is putting a plant, a plant in the corner of a room, and a light in the middle, and it will randomly point at a different corner, just at random times, like a random number generator. But then if you go over to it and think, and just keep saying over and over in your head, think by it, to do it for the plant, it will just start doing it more to the plant. And that happens most times, apparently. Little things as well, like random number generators as well. There was something where you could the heads and tails thing, where you'll get the general heads and tails 50%, but then each time they do it, like with the thought, when they're trying to focus on one in particular, probability long, or all in all, there's actually
it increases by a minuscule amount, but an amount that is still rather statistically significant.
And there was one where to put it on a bigger scale, since for the past like 30-40 years, there are these random number generators all over the world for a long running experiment, and
It didn't have anything to do with the number towers, is it? That's a fucking creepy thing.
I don't know. This was just looking
I'll
at
tell you
any correlations that happened, and basically like things like 9/11, things like the tsunami, for example. There would be weird blips there where it's like a particular number or it was just acting differently in a certain way, in a more organized, uniformed way than it would do other times. And it's like the correlation between that and
this sounds
gives an idea,
Yeah, this sounds a bit similar because there was a thing. Did you ever play Black Ops, the original Call of Duty Black Ops?
I probably did. Yeah, well, I did. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you remember playing? I think you're playing as Woods at one point. You sat there and you're sort of being interviewed, and there's like 13, 24, 18, 1, 14, 38, 4, 16, like that. Just random numbers. They exist. There are there's number towers that you can fucking radio connect. You can tune into the radio of, and they're just doing that.
Oh,
all
the
time.
Yeah.
All the time. Yeah. And again, like supposedly there's sort of things in there where you can detect patterns in it that give you information.
Yeah.
And some of the things have supposedly been predicted, and other things that are likely to happen in the future according to it. Like one of the ones was Britney Spears winning an Oscar at some point. And it's like, if that happens 4 years later, the world ends. So Britney Spears, don't fucking do it. Don't you do it, Britney.
I mean, the world would basically be ended if she fucking... She doesn't even act, does she?
Oh, she does. She was in How I Met Your Mother.
Oh, yeah, shit, she was.
Yeah. She was quite good in that, actually, in a weird way.
Was as well.
Yeah.
That fucking...
she's just insane enough and just a good enough actor where you could sort of buy it, if you know what I mean. If she got just the right role, maybe she could pull something off.
I mean, Lady Gaga, I don't think she actually did it, but she, did a good job anyway, from what I've heard. Like, Lady Gaga managed to do it, and so, yeah, why not?
Yeah, she seemed to do fine, and it was just A Star Is Born, wasn't it?
Yeah. Oh,
yeah, the one with Brandon Cooper?
Yeah, Bradley Cooper.
Yeah. Bradley Cooper.
Yeah. I've been watching some random films lately. I've been trying, like, during like the time since like New Year's, I've been trying to just not make as much stuff and just relax and just watch stuff more and all that.
Yeah, I tried that. Yeah, it's
hard to do. It's not good. I got completely out of my routine as well, and like I was just shitty. Apparently, when I'm not making stuff, I am a miserable bastard.
Yeah, same here. I didn't even know it. I'm an absolute prick when I'm not being creative.
Yeah, would you like me? Like
apparently, I can't sit and enjoy a computer game anymore because I would just immediately start raging. Like I'd managed to get to a point where I was fairly chill, but I was trying to play Doom Eternal the other day, and my God, that game can suck a dick. Fuck me, yeah.
I was about to say something then, and it just made me think of Doom, and that was actually one game I really enjoyed, the newer Doom that came out, and Doom Eternal.
Doom Eternal,
isn't it? The next one.
Oh no, Doom 2016 was 2016. Doom Eternal was fairly recent, and then the DLC for it was Elder Gods Part 1, which I haven't played yet because I still haven't completed Doom Eternal because Doom Eternal's fucking hard.
So, I'm quite good with games when it comes to the move phase. I'm terrible with games, but I'm good that I can keep continuously playing them over and over, to get through a level. I like playing it on hard or something, the hardest one, and then doing it over and over. Like Devil May Cry 4, I've been playing for about 7 months now, and I'm almost difficulty.
Quote unquote, get good. That's the thing, isn't it? Like I am, not being funny, a pretty good Dark Souls player. I know that's the where get good came from, but yeah, I can fuck people up in Dark Souls.
The RPG one.
Yeah, it's the RPG one where it's everything in the world is already dead and it's a decaying world, and you're sort of bringing the last ember of fire to the final resting place, and you decide what you want to do with it. And
how can you even like beat someone at that like? Because it's not a lot of the RPG games. I remember them. It's very like just swing.
No, not for Dark Souls. No, Dark Souls is all hitbox based. It's all fucking action based. Like you can walk in, you get yourself a massive Zweihander, you hold it over over your back, you swing that bad boy at people. It's all about dodging and parrying and blocking and getting your timings right and then fucking people up. At one point, I was in an area of Dark Souls.
I think I know which one you mean actually, because one of my mates loves all that stuff, like Goth Dude.
Yeah. I was playing Dark Souls 3, and there's a bit where you go out on sort of this big open balcony, and then like people will just attack you because that's just basically what people do there. And these two guys invaded me. Now, normally in a Dark Souls fight, if two people invade you, you're fucked.
You got invaded by two guys, did you?
Yeah, I know what the fuck I'm doing in Dark Souls, bro. So these two guys are fighting me. I'm doing my dodges. And the way you beat someone in Dark Souls, it's like the way you beat someone in poker, right? When you're playing poker, you're not playing the cards, you're playing the other player.
Okay.
So I mean, you're checking their tells, you're trying to figure out their patterns. So I'm making a pattern. Yeah, I'm making a pattern that they can read. I dodge forward, I dodge back, I dodge right. I dodge forward, I dodge back, I dodge right. I dodge forward, I dodge back, I dodge forward, I smack them in the face.
Yeah.
And it's just, you just keep adapting and fucking them up and twisting it. And I kill the first guy, the second guy there, he starts trying to run away. No, you don't, boy. No, you fucking don't. Backstab. I've never been good at any PvP ever in my life, but I can kick ass at Dark Souls.
Would that be about your best 2-player game, you reckon, in like best whatever? Like that?
Yeah, in Dark Souls, that was the best PvP. They were serious players, and it took a lot to take them down.
But I mean, like, in regards to like gaming, like what game? If someone challenged you to a game or something, what would be your go-to in regards to?
I'd fuck them up in Dark Souls.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd fuck people up in Dark Souls.
I like Tekken. I do. I've always been a Tekken man.
I'm so bad at fighting games. So bad at them.
Tekken's literally the only one I like because anyone can play it when you pick it up. It's button bashing, but at the same time, if you get good with a person, you can get really good with that person, but still have a legitimate fight on your hands. Playing against, like my mom, for example, button bashing, she can still fucking kill you.
Yeah. It's like you can't really do that with Mortal Kombat anymore. Mortal Kombat has become so refined that it's basically just pro players who can do it. And then the step above that is fucking Street Fighter, which is just fucking scene. I don't know how people can do that shit. I genuinely don't. It's like the blocking, and the worst bit for me is like I've got a controller here. The worst thing for me is when you're fucking playing one and you've got to do sort of hold circle and spin up at the same time and spin up, and I can never get the fucking hit to go. No matter what I do, I can never get the combo. Yeah.
Did you ever play? Oh shit! Wait, I just thought of a game then.
I'll deal with it. What?
Oh shit! Wait. I thought of a game to ask you if you. Oh yeah, okay. Did you ever play Dragon Ball Budokai Tenkaichi?
Nah, that's never been my thing.
They were the best games. They were great. I got a particular friend who is one of them people that is ridiculously good at every game. I love him to bits, but he's an idiot generally. But with games, he's great.
He's fucking pro, yeah.
Yeah, mate. He's one of them. He can just kill any game. And that was the only game where I've ever been able to actually regularly beat him on. Regularly he beats me too, but that was number 3. I got very good at that game. That Guitar Hero. Oh no, he killed me on Guitar Hero, but I enjoyed Guitar Hero. I liked it when I was at university. That they literally released or just released the Monsters of Rock version or the World Tour Rock version, which had the giant box, which had guitar in it, the microphone in it, the drum set in it. I spent so much time playing those drums. It was fucking
unbelievable. Like, I would sit there for about 3 hours straight playing fucking Children of Bodom on the drums, just like on the extreme, just slamming the shit out of them. Like,
See,
I love that.
I was so excited to have the drums on that when I got them, because I'd been drumming like for a while at that point. Because I think I got it late, and then I remember I was so happy to get it, and then we was playing around, and I tried to do it, and I hated it with a passion. Like, it just felt wrong playing drums like that, like not knowing what I'm doing before until it comes off. I was like, this isn't how you drum. I got into the singing.
It's like the guitars are awful as well, and there are loads of people who played guitar here, and they thought, "Oh, I might be able to play guitar now," and then they picked up a guitar.
Yeah.
Like, what? Where? Why? Why do I have to put the fingers in places? Why don't I just hold it?
Drums is the only one out of them that did give you some kind of transferable stuff from it.
It's sort of the same thing. It's not quite the same thing, but it's sort of the same thing. Yeah,
it's the same thing in a lot of the motions. You can learn a lot of the motions that way, and like certain things that you have to, like the muscle memory of certain things. But then at the same time, if you haven't been on a drum kit before that, you're not thinking about the accents, where you hit it, how to hit it, all that kind of crap.
It was a really good way to figure out how to get your tempo down as well.
Yeah.
Shut up.
So
it's just when you're like, it's like, and if you missed a single one, you'd see it go past you, and you're like, fuck.
Yeah. Have you ever been a drummer? Like, are you a drummer at all, or?
No, my dad is though, or was for a while. He was a professional drummer in a band called the Hamsters. They were voted the hardest working band in Britain by Top Gear magazine. Back in late 90s, early 2000s, something like that. They had quite a big following actually, but
is that what got you into music? I'm guessing. Could you a bassist?
Yeah, bassist. Yeah, I've got one right here. If I can just get you, it's a bit dusty, but it's an Epiphone.
Yeah,
it's EB3, so it's the SG version of the bass guitar.
I do like
beautiful,
those, to be honest. Yeah,
they're nice, aren't they?
Yeah,
a bit like Angus from AC/DC, which everyone enjoys.
I got that bass up there, but that's just more of a fucking decoration than anything now.
Yeah.
To be honest with you. Oh man, that's one thing that I haven't got a drum kit like at the moment. I used to, but I miss it so much. Like, that's one thing I really miss at the moment as well. Like, I don't want to do banding anymore in regards to like a career thing, because I realised that quite a few years back, my passion was not there for it. So I wasn't that passionate. I just enjoyed playing drums.
Same here. Yeah, I really liked playing bass guitar, but it wasn't even that I was never going to commit to it. It's just I'm not the guy who sort of goes in a band, really. If that makes sense. Like, stand-up made a lot more sense, because it's just like, you just go on the stage, and if you fuck up, it's on you.
Yeah, it's all on you.
But the amount of times I played a gig with people and they'd fuck something up, I was like, I wouldn't have fucked that up. Which is such a shitty way to look at your bandmates, you know what I mean? But like, that's sort of the mentality I had.
I thought you were talking about comedy then.
Oh, no. I think it's a lot harder to say someone's bad at comedy in a lot of ways. Like, you can tell when someone's shit at music because it sounds fucking awful. And I've seen people laugh at terrible jokes and love them.
Yeah. It's the delivery in it and all that.
Yeah,
but, I love a terrible joke. As you know, I love a terrible joke.
Yeah.
But I was going to say though, the difference between like the music thing is though, when you see like a band play or something, they've practiced that thing. That's like you've played it over, and like we always said, you're never really ready to play a song in front of people until you're tired of playing that song, until you don't enjoy playing that song anymore.
Yeah, once you're doing it on automatic pilot and you don't even have to think about it, and while you're playing the song, you're thinking about what you're going to have after the gig, whether you're going to go for a Chinese or a kebab. That is when you're perfect. Yeah.
Or thinking, I am so high right now. Usually.
Yeah. I did have one of those. I had one of those when I was in a punk band ages ago, before I even went to university. and they were all fairly into their smoking, and I was a absolute novice at weed at the time.
Yeah.
But I remember getting so fucking high whilst playing the bass that I swear on my mum's life, it looked as though I was playing the bass the wrong way round. Like, as I moved my fingers up the fret, it felt like they were getting closer to me. As I was bringing them down, it felt like it was getting further away. It's like, this is wrong. I shouldn't be doing this.
I wouldn't have been surprised though if, like, from the outside, it probably sounded sweet.
It sounded fucking spot on because I was so desperately concentrating on my finger placement. Everything was so precise.
I think my weirdest one was I remember, like, there was one because back then you could, like, go and get, like, high or have a proper night out or something back when I was like 20 and then be fine the next day. I remember we did that the one time when we was going through more of a druggy stage and we had, like, loads of E's and stuff the night before. And then the next day it was all good in the end. And then we went and played a gig at the Roadhouse on the night. And I sat down, and as soon as we started, it was like a point when our set started, I just suddenly, I don't know, it's like everything kicked up in my stomach again, and I was pulled to hell out of nowhere. It was amazing.
Yeah, that's 9 times out of 10.
I felt like I was doing this crazy arm stuff the whole time. I might have been, I don't know.
You might well have been,
Amazing,
Yeah, I've never been able to. I've never been in public on anything like that. I could never do. I could never go to a rave on MDMA or something like that. It just sounds horrible. Like, people out there. No, because I can't imagine anything worse than being in a club or something like that, surrounded by sweaty people I don't know, while I'm slightly anxious from being on MDMA.
Well,
and then,
as soon as you get that first anxious feeling, it's there, and
that's
then
it. Night ruined. Exactly. And not only that, but, like, someone else is in control of the music. To me, that is fucking sacrilege. That, like, the whole point of that fucking thing is, for me, is to get, like, a few friends that you really, really like together to sit in a room, chill, relax, gradually build up the night, and then you start playing the music, and one person goes, "Oh, I've got this excellent track," and by the time that track's about to finish, someone else goes, "Oh, I know exactly what to play next." I love that, man. Like, when you're just sort of riding the waves and then you're just getting higher and higher.
I know you said it.
I had a whole bit about it in my set, like my 10-minute set about adrenaline junkies and getting a high in the comparisons between the two. And my favorite joke out of it was, the only difference between a heroin junkie and adrenaline junkie is when a heroin addict dies, you pick them up off the street, and when an adrenaline junkie dies, you fucking hose them off.
I can't even, just thinking off the top of my head, I can't even remember any of my set. My sets completely. I pretty much, like, just got rid of it and started again.
It just melts away after a while. The only reason I remember these is because I spent so long trying to learn them off by heart. So fucking long.
Same.
Yeah.
Still haven't got there.
Yeah.
I think it's one of them. I think it's going to be hard to do any of it until we're there doing it over and over again. I think one good thing about all this is, it's, for me anyway, personally, I'm not taking for granted at all, like, going to gigs now and practicing this stuff and doing all that. Like, I took it for granted before, and I'd get in my head and get nervous or something, and we all get fucking nervous, but it's,
sometimes you find yourself going, "Oh, do I have to do this gig? Is it worth doing this gig, or shall I just sort of fuck it off and do the next one?" It's like, not ever again am I going to think that. So I'm going to do every goddamn gig I can.
We just find the positives in a big negative, Nathan.
That's what life's about, especially at the moment. I mean, again, like, imagine if we'd never had the pandemic come along, man. Like, this whole podcast wouldn't really exist in the way it does.
No, this wouldn't.
You know?
The quiz off,
and the quiz off wouldn't either. I mean, you know, the In Your House podcast was pretty fucking good as a starter, but, like, this stuff, Like it's definitely pushed what you can do to a new level, I think.
Yeah.
And it's just it's the same with loads of people I know, like Leanne Easthope. She's doing loads more stuff now than she ever did before.
Still waiting for my episode. I did an episode with her. It's quite funny.
I've got. I think I've got to edit that at some point soon. But like the last version of it I was given didn't copyright and it corrupted, which was really annoying.
Okay.
Because I managed to change it over and I could get the audio, patchy audio for some reason, but the entire screen was completely fucking black, which helpful.
Okay. Well, it can't be done, and it's no worry on my side.
It will be done eventually, and worst case scenario, we'll figure something out.
Yeah.
Or we'll figure something out. I am merely her editor, bitch.
Yeah. I was thinking actually during this, would you still be up for doing that Dungeons and Dragons thing then?
Oh fuck yes, yeah, definitely, yeah.
Cool. I'll work some. How many people do you think we should look for? So if you're dungeon mastering,
well, it comes down to a role thing, really. Because
actually,
when it comes to
let's end the podcast before we chat this. Actually,
yeah, okay, right, okay. Let's do the outro.
Let's do it. Outro. Just thank you for listening, everyone. You know the stuff right now. We'll be back.
Yeah.
The comedian quiz off, of course. We'll be back on Wednesday, as we said. A variety of people. Can't say who yet because don't actually know. Know a few of them.
We'll figure it out. Yeah,
you know me. It's always the last day or so. I've got 2 new rounds that are going to be popping up. One of them's called some variation of Mount Dunsmore, and then something to do with betting where you have to bet your points. But I'm figuring it out.
I like that idea. That's good.
Like you get like a category like board games, and then you say, I reckon I could name 12, and then if you name the 12, you get 12 points. If you fail, you lose 12 points.
I like that. That's good. Yeah, that's a good system. Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, so thank you very much then, guys. As we said before, check out Post-Apocalyptic Metal Treehouse episodes 1 to 3.
Hell yeah.
Where can I get that, Nathan?
You can find Post-Apocalyptic Metal Treehouse on YouTube at Dead Man Dancing, or It's Dead Man Dancing. I can't be sure entirely.
It was Dead Man Dancing.
Find it. Just put in Post-Apocalyptic Metal Treehouse and you'll find it. SoundCloud, you can get it. Stitcher, Spotify, iTunes, basically wherever you can listen to something, you can hear Post-Apocalyptic Metal Treehouse. It's getting very interesting at this point as well. It's taken 4 months, 4 fucking months to write this most recent episode because it is about to get fucking serial, people.
I showed it to my girlfriend, and he just has hardly any humor in his life. He just doesn't laugh at things, but he finds that fucking hilarious.
Hell yeah, that's what I like to hear.
Like a goth laugh, man. That's saying something.
Yeah, man.
But
before I forget, the main bad guy is going to be arriving in this episode as well. That's right. Okay. This ain't your normal sketch show. This is a sketch show that fucks with the idea of what a sketch show can be. Yeah.
Oh shit! Are we going to go meta?
Oh, we're going to go meta.
I don't know why this made me think of it. Completely unrelated. Did you hear that Deadpool is going to be in the MCU but still R-rated?
Yeah, I'm into that. I'm really into that. They've got the X-Men back in, and that's going to be fun as well. And then we've got the Fantastic Four arriving soon, which means it's almost certain that there's going to be that planet-eating motherfucker out there. That's going to be sweet. Galactus, bro. Fucking Galactus.
I can't wait for the moment that Deadpool appears in like another film, like Spider-Man, for example. And he says something and he beeps out or something, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I can't swear because it's a PG-13 or something."
Yeah. What they need to do though is Sony need to man the fuck up and make Venom an 18. They need to man the fuck up.
I thought about it before. There's not that much more for an 18 than there is to a 15. It's not the gore lot of it, is it? It's the tits. And
it's the tits and sexual stuff and drug use and to be honest, you could probably get away with a really good 15 Venom very easily. But Like,
That's
Venom
it.
is supposed to be nasty and brutal and evil, and I genuinely liked that last movie, but it's like, it's a really good Sam Raimi series, like
Yeah,
Spider-Man movie, if you know what I mean, superhero movie. It's not like a modern superhero movie.
yeah. No, I
It's
understand.
yeah.
But that was rated R, wasn't it? That wasn't.
Nah,
Yeah,
that was
no,
a PG or
no,
12A.
15. I'm
What,
just
Venom
checking.
was a 15?
Yeah, I'm just checking it now. It was a. I
You're
thought it was.
kidding me. God damn. There
There's a
should
lot
have
of
been way
stuff.
more blood in it. Way more blood, way more death, way more violence.
Yeah. Oh, and to be fair, yeah, and considering you look at Endgame, Thanos had it chopped off right at the beginning.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, that's okay,
You know
But
what the
Venom,
difference is? Budget.
money.
That's
Yeah,
the difference. Yeah.
money, money, money.
Yeah.
Oh, right then.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that's it. It was the
I think
new
that's it.
sponsor down the bottom, KD Creative Media Productions. I found it's a
Yeah.
really attractive guy that runs this. If you need any logos, any overlays, anything media related, let me know. Visual more so, because I just prefer doing that, and I don't want to pull my hair out when it comes to podcast editing, etc. Blah words. I'm done.
It takes a long time. It takes a very long time.
It's slightly soul draining.
Yeah, it is a bit, but it's worth it.
Oh yeah, I much prefer leaving. I think a lot of people like the proper natural chat anyway, so I leave mine as much as I can, just unedited.
Yeah, best thing to do.
Mm.
Yeah. Well then.
Cool then. Thank you very much, people, and we will see you next
later.
week.
Hell yeah.
Cheers.